If there's one thing I love about the Batman Arkham games, it's their attention to detail. I've been revisiting the series, and you gotta love all the fan service and crazy secrets the developers over at Rocksteady snuck in there. Ranging from simple things like random cells in Arkham Asylum clearly belonging to one of Batman's villains, to insanely hard to find secrets, like the map for the sequel Arkham City being hidden in a room behind a random unmarked wall in Arkham Asylum, or the Calendar Man secret that required players to set their date of their console back to December 13th, 2004 in order to trigger. A secret that Rocksteady themselves allegedly leaked years later because no one found it.
I was there at your beginning, and I will be there at your end.
I love that kind of stuff. But recently, upon replaying these games, one little detail caught my eye that I totally forgot about. I love stumbling upon these stories organically. In Arkham City, inside the steel mill where Harley Quinn has set up shop, you can find Harley's old costume from the first game, and on the floor beside it, a pregnancy test. Fruitful endeavor. And wouldn't you know it, the test has a positive result. Now I hope I don't need to spell it out for you guys, but I will anyway. This of course implies that Harley Quinn was
Pregnant?
which got me thinking. I've played the sequel to this game, Arkham Knight, and even though Harley's in that game, she plays a fairly minimal role, and there ain't no Joker baby. So that begs the question, what the hell happened to Harley's baby? Curious, I went online and searched, and according to several clickbait articles, what I found shocked me. While it's never directly addressed in the game's story or with any in-game dialogue, using good old-fashioned environmental storytelling, Harley's apparent pregnancy is addressed in Arkham City's DLC, Harley's Revenge. Taking place after the events of the main game, going back once again to the steel mill, players will find a crib with a Joker doll inside. Littered all around on the floor, dozens of pregnancy tests, only this time, all of them showing a negative result. What does it mean? Well, this led to a popular fan theory, and that's that Harley was pregnant, but the events of Arkham City caused her to miscarry.
Move! Again.
That last one may have been a bit embellished, but you get the idea. People point to this scene in particular where Harley is tossed to the ground and lands on her stomach, which seemingly affects her more than you'd expect. On top of that, if you clear the game on New Game Plus, during the credits near the end, Harley can be heard singing her own version of Hush Little Baby.
There, there. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna kill for you the whole damn world.
And it sounds a bit off. I mean, it's Harley Quinn, so she always sounds a bit crazy, but the fan theory goes that she's singing this after she's miscarried in some sort of state of psychosis after losing her baby.
When you see my puddin', tell him Holly sent ya. And she says hi.
It's all very dark, super messed up. And the icing on the cake is, it would have been Batman that caused her to miscarry. It adds an entirely new layer to the Harley's Revenge DLC, and this theory has been around for years and has made the rounds in all sorts of articles and lists around the internet. Now, fan theories and internet theories, they're fun and all, and I get it. And of course, I don't want to spoil anyone's fun. But really, would they really have done that? What's the real story here? One very important detail changes everything. There's the first single pregnancy test that shows a positive in the main game, and then there's a bunch of negative results in the post-game DLC. But there is a difference. The boxes that the pregnancy tests come in, they're different. The one in the main game, Fruitful Endeavor, the label reads Early Detection, very sensitive, easy to read, easy to use. However, the one in the DLC, also called the Fruitful Endeavor, has a big warning on it. Test may result in false positive. But why? Why the change? Well, the idea they're going for here is Harley didn't miscarry, she simply was never pregnant in the first place. The first test instead was a false positive.
I knew it.
But that seems like a big 180. That seemed like it was set up to be a major plot point in future games, and then they simply axed the entire idea right there in the DLC. So why the shift in direction? Well, it all makes sense as soon as you consider the game's writer, Paul Dini, who's famous for his work on various Batman projects, including Batman the Animated Series, and of course, both Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. However, as revealed in a blog post, Paul Dini didn't have any more involvement in the series following the release of Arkham City, and that includes the DLC, as Rocksteady shifted the writing duties to be taken care of in-house. So, while sure it would have been a bold narrative decision to have Batman be responsible for Harley Quinn's miscarriage, what really happened is changes in the writing team resulted in Rocksteady backpedaling on what was sure to be a major plot point in future games in the series. And it most definitely would have resulted in a bigger, more significant story arc for Harley Quinn in the game's sequel. People love Harley, and part of me is curious as to what could have been if they kept Paul Dini on as the writer. And it all kind of makes sense when you consider who created Harley Quinn, a character who first showed up in Batman the Animated Series back in the 90s. It was Paul freaking Dini. And I'm sorry WhatCulture and Cracked.com, but the Caped Crusader's clean record shall remain unscathed. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Deep Cuts. As always, please let me know what you thought about it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. And for stories similar to this one, consider binge watching the series using the Deep Cuts playlist. Thanks again for watching this one, guys. Peace!